So now all of that is absolutely fascinating, but it's a global perspective. And one of the programs that we have here at the university is called Global. It's a combination of global and local. And so we'd like to move the discussion to the Israeli scene and ask you, first of all, could you tell us a little bit about how the experience of being here in Israel has impacted you? And second of all, have you experienced anything here in Israel which leads you to think of initiating projects which may be different from those that you've initiated elsewhere in the world?
I think Israel is a beautiful place. For one, there's so many cultures here in Israel, and when you have that type of culture combined in one country, it brings a certain type of spiritual element to where we are. And so being able to somewhat use that type of culture to establish something from a charity effort would be awesome. My experience here in Israel has been phenomenal. I've traveled here several times before. And so now being able to expand our charity efforts here is amazing.
Excellent, we're very happy to hear that. We definitely identify that Africa and Israel as definitely two passions of yours, really important to Africa and to Israel. What is the role you think Israel can play in Africa? And what is in your vision based on what you learned here in Israel? What we can do for Africa as a country, as people?
Well, I think there's always been a role that Africa and Israel played, even in the times of exile in Egypt. So there's always been a connection with Africa and Israel. And I think it's just a matter of reconnecting it, and really being able to reach out to the world. Not only Africa, but there's other nations around the world that are also studying the Hebrew culture and understand that they are connected to the Hebrew culture. So it's not really just finger pointing, to Africa, but it's really an accumulation of all the nations that are curious and want to learn and have this insight, have this inner tuition to want to connect themselves to the Hebrew culture. And I think it's very important for us in the position that we're in to help them. And that's the way I look at it.
So, Mari, I'm sure you noticed that you have a cheerleading section on both sides of the stage behind you. The cheerleading section are the 17 students in Ravi and my fundraising course summer semester that we're running at the moment, of which this is one of the sessions. What practical advice would you have for students who are studying non-profit management and leadership, and how can they create a link with key influencers who have high visibility and help and influence them or persuade them to take an interest in promoting social responsibility? So you've got some eager ears behind you.
That was a long question. But I think the most...
Wait till you see what's happened when Professor gives answers.
I think the most important factor with charity or foundation work is you have to have passion for it. You have to believe in it. And you have to have, the passion has to be on a high level, because if you're not passionate about it, then your foundation or your charity efforts will only last a short period of time. When you're building something from a foundation, you want to build that up into an everlasting type of charity efforts. You want that to dwell and last forever, so your good deeds, your goodwill work will always be, will be cherished. So whatever you're doing as far as your charity work or your foundation, have passion for it. Understand what you're doing. You have to be, a part of it. You have to work at it. And it's not always easy to raise money for things that you believe in. But at the same time, there are people out there who believe in the exact same cause that you have. So the number one key is You have to have your heart and your passion totally into it, 100%. And then you have to have a group of people around you that believe in the exact same cause. So now you guys are always studying, you guys are always together, you're always building or learning, and you're teaching, and you're now starting to build your foundation or your sharing efforts.
Social media. Social media is like one of the biggest questions or one of the biggest platforms today in the world where you really can connect the world. I know that you are personally very active. Here you have close to 1 million followers. 3 of them are my sons, so I know I get reports all the time. When you leave, when you come, when you leave. But the real question for us as professionals, and I think also for anybody who is involved in charity, social media is like a huge platform of cheerleaders. Pressing the like, tagging, enjoying, they're like viewing the process. But the biggest question is how you move them from being the cheerleaders into a player. How you move them from saying it's very nice what you're doing to take part in your vision and in the work you're doing.
I think there's always good and bad with social media, because we can spend too much time following and other people and reading about things that is not very important. But at the same time, you can also use these tools to learn and study, and also connect with the world. I mean, I have maybe 1 million followers on Twitter, and my followers are from different facets of life. Which is a beautiful thing, because before social media, this wasn't possible. You see, so the great thing about social media is that you're able to connect with the world. But there is a bad thing about it too, because you can waste too much time following and reading things that's not important. So always keep in mind, there's a limit to what you should do with these things. And so if you use social media to enhance what your passion is, then you're golden. So that's the key for me.
So, and I'm going to prepare the audience now. This will be the last question from, at least formal question, from Rami and myself, and then we'll open the forum to the audience. So if people have questions in mind, start formulating those questions. The last question from the two of us, Amar'e, is you're constantly bombarded by Yeshua with requests for donations. What turns you on and what turns you off? How should somebody who wants to get a donor to donate approach a potential donor?
Well, they have to have the true passion for it. Their heart have to be into it. If they're not genuine, and if they're not willing to apply the passion and just that spirit within what you're doing, then I'd rather not get involved. I want someone who's totally passionate about it, who's gonna think about it, lose sleep at it sometimes over it, because you're so passionate, you're so into it. You want to build, you want to teach, you want, whatever your charity efforts are. If you have mutual people that are on the same page with you, then now you have something successful. But if someone doing it just to become famous or just for the name, then those are the wrong reasons to get behind any charity. So that's my key. If you have passion for it, you truly believe in it, and you want to make a difference, then let's do it. So that's how I look at it.
Thanks. And Mimi?
Okay, so let's open it. Thank you very much, and let's open it for questions. Maybe we'll start with us. We don't have an exam on this, maybe. But
They have a paper that they...
yeah. Now we'll start, he will mark the grade. So, okay, anyone from here would like to ask questions, or if you don't mind, yeah.
My question is, you mentioned that you have done your way all the way through from the portrait to the place where you are, and you know very well the situation disadvantaged families and on the needs. Do you actually do anything to raise awareness between people around about like the real situation and the needs? Because there are many people from more affluent families, rich families, who would also like to donate their time and money, but sometimes they have like very little idea what are the real needs in those situations. Do you do any kind of work to actually tell the story and to show where the help is needed?
Yes, that's a great question. And this is an area where you can use your social media. You know, because that's what I do with my Twitter and Instagram. I actually, if you guys follow me on Twitter, I actually give out a lot of insight. But that, you know, to answer the question is that's the way I give out the awareness, is through like the social media. And also my website, the Amar'e.com, is a website where if you go to the foundation portion of the website, then it gives you a layout of everything that is happening in ways that we actually try to cure and raise the awareness of what's happening. So there's the social media again comes into play because that helps you to now raise the awareness for the ones who want to donate to these causes.
Thank you very much. Anyone? Someone?
I just wanted to ask, how able are you to keep in touch with the people you're helping? How able are you to be in contact with them because of your obviously your lifestyle?
Well, being in my position, you have true friends that actually work with you. And so, and everyone that works with me have the same passion. And so with these students and with the children I'm helping, the ones that work with me are in direct contact with all of them, which they are in direct contact with me. So if any of the students have any questions or any concerns, or just want to talk or vent, they can easily call me because my team is with them. You know, so I keep a solid team within me, so that way for anyone who have questions or need any help, they have a direct connection with me through my team.
Okay, anyone on the front? Anyone here?
I'm curious what the you know, a lot of players are giving, have their own foundation. What's that atmosphere of sharing, liking the NBA between players or joining forces to do one thing, or what's that like?
I mean, everyone doesn't have the same mindset as I may have or my team may have. You know, so I can't speak on everyone else, but there are a few of us within the NBA and within professional sports that are willing to create charity efforts to help children around the world. And there's times, you know, after games, before games, in the locker room, we sit and talk about these things. You know, how can we find a way to the money that we're making? How can we now take this money and apply it to some type of charity effort? You know, and we sit and talk all the time, but everyone is not. You know, not
Pressure your peers sometimes, to those who aren't giving, to say, you know, it's part of the effort.
Yeah, I get them involved, but you know, I don't force them because you want them. Yeah, I don't force them. It's just a matter of them having a passion for it. If you don't have the passion for the same due diligence that I may have about it, then I'm not going to force. I can bring the awareness to you, but if you don't feel the same, you know, passion toward it, then I can't force you. Your passion may be toward curing cancer. You know, everyone has different passions. My passion is to cure poverty through education.